this really long kind of linear pattern came in, and it's super long. On the video clip I saw, the drummer plays it super fast, and then they kind of make you wait for the written sticking. They show you the written sticking for a very short time, and then they go right back to fast. So in other words, you got to watch the video over and over and over again to try to figure out what they're doing. So I wanted to use this pattern as a example of how I approach something that I see on the internet, and like, I want to try that. So how does that work? So what I do, the first thing I do is I look at the video. I try to see what they're doing. Sometimes I'll slow down the video and look at their hands. Sometimes what they're doing with their hands is not actually what they've written down. And then a thing that really helps me, even if they have it written out, is for me to write it myself. I don't know why, but if I write it myself, it goes into my brain differently than if I just see somebody who wrote it out. So this particular pattern only gave sticking. So here's the sticking. It's a big clump of rights and lefts with a very few kicks in it. And it's one of those beats where it's like they're kind of doing sort of a roll. Maybe it's a 6-stroke roll, and every and they're giving you like a kick. I'm sorry, a snare downbeat, within like a roll pattern. That's what it sounds like. But I've never played it, so I'm literally just doing this cold. And so after writing it down, then I'll look through the pattern and I'll try to see, is there any patterns within the pattern? So the first pattern I see is some double stroke rolls. So the very first pattern, I see a right by itself. Then I see 6 strokes, they're doubles. It ends with a kick. Right? So the second pattern I see, it's almost like a 6-stroke roll, or so I see like a right, then I see left, a left bounce, and then a right bounce, then a left. Right? Then the fourth line, I just see right, left, kick. Right, so then I see the same line as the top line, which is so I also will count all the different either notes or stickings. And so if I'm not mistaken, this is 32 stickings. So 32, if we're looking at 30-second notes, then that works out, 4/4, 30-second notes. You could maybe think of it as 2 bars of 16th notes. Is it 1 E? See, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and a 4. Yeah, 2 bars of 16th notes. So then maybe I'll write it a different way. So I'm going to try to write it as 16th notes, and I'll put little lines in between each of the 4 patterns. So now I have 2 lines. Let's see, it's right, that's what it is. That's the top bar, top line. Second line is So there it is, 2 bars. Now if that's too difficult, maybe I could break it up into, say, 8 notes at a time. So the first 8 notes would be, and then the next 8 notes would be, I'm sorry. Right? So the next 8 notes would be, and then the last 8 notes would be, right? So I have a feeling that they were doing this in 30-second notes. But basically I would try to chain those together. And so the very worst thing I could do at this point is try to play it fast. The best thing for me to do is to try to, ingest this pattern, try to get this pattern going over and over and over again until it feels, natural, so I don't have to think about it so much. Just try to basically put this pattern in my brain, sort of like I'm just trying to, they call it muscle memory, that's one word for it, but, you're just trying to basically memorize the way that this goes. So I'm going to try it very slow. I see. So the tricky part is if you look at the top line, it ends with the left. The bottom line starts with the left, so that's a little deceiving, just because of the way I wrote it. It's not the person's fault who made this, but it makes you think that one is sort of a single left hand and it starts with another single left hand, when in truth it's probably a bounce. So I want to make this. If I have paper, I have this other paper, so I'm going to write it on this other paper. I want to see if I can write this all in one straight line. See if that would give it any clarity. Okay, so now I have it all in one straight line. Let's see what this feels like. That makes a little more sense. It could be because I've done this a few times now. It's certainly not my writing, because some of these I've made uppercase and some lowercase, but it makes a little more sense. Okay, so now I'm starting to see other patterns. It looks like there's almost a paradiddle here. Yeah, it's a long line. So that's like as far as that is going to go for me as far as a continuous line. But